Okay, I'm hoping that you can hear me. I just tried another segment of a video and played it back, and my sound is no good at all. So I'm hoping this one will turn out better, and if it doesn't, I'm a professional. I will throw a tantrum. So what we got here is a book cover illustration that I am painting. And if you know anything about me, you know that I don't paint book cover illustrations. I do not want to. Sam, I am. I used to think I wanted to for years and years when I wasn't being asked to do them. I thought that was the only thing in the world I really wanted to do. A few years ago, I decided it's not, and I'm going in a different direction. Sure enough, that's when I started having people ask me to do book cover illustrations. But this one, for a friend of mine, we go way back, and actually this project goes way back. And I really basically promised a long time ago to do this book cover. And the project got pushed back for a long time. So anyhow, at this point, I feel like I owe him to do this book cover. But that's the end. There will be no more. We're witnessing Gilead's last book cover illustration, maybe. On the other hand, if somebody comes along and says, hey, that painting that you did, some other painting, not this one, if they look at some other painting that I've done and they say, that would be perfect for our book cover, can we buy the rights for that? Well, yeah, I'll do that in a heartbeat, because I don't have to sit down and paint you a cover. It's doing this right here, painting the cover. I love painting. I've got a million projects on my table. I want to do them. I don't want to do more of these. But this one's okay. The premise of this one, the little girl's having a birthday party, and she has said that she wants to have a magical adventure, like, I don't know, like going to Narnia or something like that, one of those things from all the fairy tales and all the books and things that she's read. She wants to go on a magical adventure, so her parents are accommodating her as best as they know how by buying her a bunch of toys, a bunch of fantasy toys, and she doesn't want a bunch of fantasy toys. She wants to go fantasy places. Don't we all? We can all relate to being this child. We can all relate to being this frustrated parent that doesn't know what to do. With the unappreciative little brat. I love children. Really do. What you saw when I first sat down was this guy painted in acrylics. And now I'm finishing the painting in oils. That's a technique. It's not the technique. Some people could get all of these effects that I'm getting in acrylics. I can't. Um, my acrylic paintings look about as good as what you saw. Um, so if I want to get the smooth blending and nice mix of colors together, those lovely transitions of color right there, I get that from oil paint. In acrylics, I get these kind of hard, one color there, one color there, because it's hard to blend them. It's not impossible. One obstacle, though, is living in Arizona, where it's not necessarily hot. I'm in an air-conditioned room, but it's extremely dry. So a water-based paint, it dries up on you in a heartbeat, whereas an oil-based paint is going to last a lot longer. Used to be oil-based paints would be mixable for days and days, which is also extremely frustrating. It's at the other end of the extreme. But they dry a lot faster these days. They've got additives in them that make them dry quicker. Probably also cause birth defects and global warming and Reaganomics and things like that. I don't need it to be mixable for days and days. I work fast enough that I'm not going to be still working on it that long. But, not on this part, unless I have screwed it up and I don't like it, in which case I'm going to have to wait for it to dry so that then I can come back and paint over it. But hopefully this will all work out. Take this bigger brush and just kind of do some broader blending. Almost everybody had coloring books when they were a kid, and almost everybody has painted their house at some point. I tend to think of paints as pick a color and fill that shape in with a color. And painting like this, that's not what you do, ever. Painting like this is an entirely different activity. Put a color down, you put another color down, you put a third, a fourth, a fifth color down. And you come back in a little later with a brush and stir them all together, and you kind of sculpt and you shape and you go over parts that you didn't like, and you come back and build up lighter or darker. So somebody says, what color is flesh tone? Well, that's a nonsense question. Like saying, what flavor is food? It's just, that just depends. What are you making? Flesh tone's different depending on whether it's day or night, whether it's outdoors or indoors, or whether he's Irish or angry. Well, that was redundant. Irish are always angry, but you know what I mean. Skin tone changes. different circumstances. And more like that until it's done.